Hi, I'm Chris Hodson. I'm the author of Cyber Risk Management, and I've worked in the cybersecurity industry for the best part of 18 years. I've worked as a consultant, a designer, an architect, and I've worked for some of the world's largest organisations across multiple different industry verticals. Today I serve as the CISO, so the Chief Information Security Officer for Tanium here in our EMEA region. I think we're seeing a plethora of high-profile data breaches because organisations are focusing their remediation and their security efforts on possibly the wrong things. I think a lot of the time we look at the right-hand side of the risk equation. We look at the controls that we apply in our environment when in fact we need to better understand the critical assets in our environment. If we can profile assets, if we can understand data, confidentiality, integrity and availability requirements, we're in a much better position to speak with our businesses. We're in a much better position to look at the relevant threats and the relevant vulnerabilities to those data assets and provide contextualised controls based on the sensitivity and the importance of that asset. Now that may be a physical asset, that may be a data asset, it may be a machine within your environment, but ensuring that you have the relevant controls for the importance and the sensitivity of those assets is going to allow organisations to better spend their budgets. It's going to have a better situation around risk. You're going to be able to understand what's important to you and possibly where a set of controls may be overly restrictive for an environment, and I think that's critically important. Good afternoon, I'm Chris Hodson, author of Cyber Risk Management. I think these days we're seeing so many high-profile data breaches for a number of reasons. I think firstly, kind of contemporary regulation requires organisations to report data breaches under regulations such as GDPR. But I also think we're seeing these breaches because we're not necessarily spending our cybersecurity budgets on the right things. And if you look at a traditional cybersecurity risk equation where you have actors who initiate events that exploit vulnerabilities, and then you have controls to mitigate or essentially remove those threats from being able to action on their objectives, I think if you spend too much time looking at controls without understanding the assets in your environment, understanding what's important to you, prioritising assets based on their criticality, prioritising assets based on the requirements to protect confidentiality, integrity and availability. I think certainly something I see with information versus cybersecurity is information security is focused on, as I said, CIA, or confidentiality, integrity and availability, whereas cyber brings into the equation aspects such as brand reputation. And now with the myriad of IoT devices that we're seeing on everyone's networks, there are instances where we can have some rather physical impacts from cybersecurity as well.